Your relationship can not only survive, but can thrive after infidelity. It takes a whole lot of vulnerability, effort, work, and time, but you can have a stronger relationship than ever before. I work with many couples who actually say that they're grateful for where their relationship is now. They're not grateful that it had to go through infidelity to get there, but after all of that work, they are grateful for the connection, the depth, the safety, and security that they have created in the relationship. Now, this isn't true for everybody. Not everyone is going to be able to heal and move forward into a stronger relationship after infidelity, but it is possible for many people. And the reason that we don't hear about it a lot is because a lot of couples don't tend to tell anybody or tell very, very few people about the infidelity. So we tend to only hear about the relationships that end after infidelity, and we don't get to see the successes. Let's talk about some of the things you want to look for and work towards in your relationship to try and heal and have a stronger relationship after infidelity. Number one, the betraying partner needs to be showing guilt and remorse for their actions. All of our emotions have a purpose. And the purpose of guilt and remorse are to tell ourselves, I didn't like that thing that I did. It didn't make me feel good about myself. I want to do something different. I want to learn from this and grow so it doesn't happen again. Those are important emotions here, because if the betraying partner doesn't feel bad about what they did, they don't feel remorseful about their actions, then there's less likelihood that they're going to actually change, because there's not a whole lot of reason for them to change or grow or learn from this. So we want to be looking for that. Number two, the betraying partner needs to cut off ties with any affair partners or any avenues that they were utilizing to engage in the infidelity. If they are continuing to engage or participate in the same ways that they were before, it's going to make it almost impossible to build trust in your relationship and really build that. Number three, you need to put some safety structures in place. When you've discovered an infidelity in your relationship, your sense of security and safety is usually completely obliterated. So we need to put some structures in place, especially in those first few weeks and months, to help provide a little bit of stabilization. This is going to look different a little bit for every couple. So you have to figure out what helps you feel safe and secure. Some of the things you want to discuss safety around are, how do you want to handle if one of the affair partners reaches out to the betraying partner? Do you want to know immediately? Do you want to be able to see those messages? Or if they saw them out in public, what do you want them to do? How do you guys want to check in with each other when you guys are separated? Do you want to have phone calls, send videos, turn on Find My iPhone? How do you guys want to deal with technology of having access or no access to emails or text messages, finances, or phone records? Number four, the betraying partner needs to hold vigilance for the infidelity. So often the betrayed partner is the one who is thinking about it, having feelings, talking about it, and it can start to feel totally overwhelming and isolating. The partner who stepped out also needs to be holding vigilance for the infidelity. And this means checking in with their partner, recognizing that there may be certain triggers or certain dates, asking them about it, recognizing when they may be feeling things about it, not worrying that, I'm gonna bring it up, things are good. It is probably on your partner's mind. And it actually helps for you to bring it up so they don't feel like they're alone in it, that they don't have to be the one who keeps bringing it up to make sure that you guys are still working on it. This is about talking about it, turning towards each other, asking about it, and working in holding that infidelity together. Number five, both partners are willing to do the individual and relational work. The partner who stepped out needs to look at themselves and understand what was going on with them that left the door open to infidelity. They really need to understand why it happened as best as they can, because when we understand why something happens, we can work on it, address it, and make sure it doesn't happen again. The betrayed partner also has to do work on themselves to heal from this trauma, so they're not holding on to it in ways that are damaging to them and the relationship, and being open to repair attempts. Now, this does not mean that you have to automatically lay down your guards and be open and just forgive and move on. Absolutely not. That is cheap forgiveness, and that does not actually help you or the relationship. But it's working towards being open to those repair attempts. If you are choosing to stay in this relationship, you have to do the work together to heal from it. And then doing the work together as a couple, looking at relational issues and patterns and how you guys have both contributed to relationship patterns and structures and issues. This is not at all blaming the betrayed partner. Betrayed partners, it is not your fault that your partner stepped out of the relationship. They have to own that piece. That is on them that they made that choice. You guys are in a relationship and you both contribute to the dynamics that happen within the relationship. And that is what you guys need to work on together relationally. But that comes really after a sense of safety has been built. That's original structures that I was talking about. After the discovery of infidelity, I really focus on creating that sense of safety, putting some structures in place. And when we're feeling a little more stable, of moving to that meaning making, understanding what was happening in the relational dynamic, what was going on with the individual, why did this happen? Number 6, you guys have to be patient. This healing takes time. So often I have couples looking down the line going, I don't know how we're going to do this. And it makes sense. You're looking so far down the line, and it is so hard to understand when you are in this moment of such deep pain, how you're ever going to heal. What I tell couples is come back to the moment. Stop trying to figure out how you're gonna get down there. Come back to this moment. Lay one brick today on that path to recovery. And then you'll lay another brick, and then you'll lay another brick. And eventually you're gonna look up and go, look at this path we've built. Because it's going to be a long process. And sometimes you're gonna take a few steps back, a few steps forward. It is a process. And you're going to have what seems like some of the same conversations come up and talk about them, or some of the same questions come up. And even though they may sound the same, that's how our brains process. We go back to information, we try to make meaning of it. So have those conversations, even if it feels like over and over again. Now, if it feels like it's the exact same conversation and it's not moving anything forward each time you have it, then you want to look at, what are we missing? What's keeping us stuck? What's really underneath this conversation? Because that is what's going to help you actually move forward. But moving forward doesn't necessarily mean that you don't have that conversation again. So it's being willing to come back, revisit, and work together on these conversations and answering these questions. Number 8, speaking of questions, we want to deal with questions carefully. The betrayed partner often has a lot of questions, and they deserve the right to information. But all questions are not made equally. Not all of them are actually going to help you heal and move forward. So we want to treat them carefully, because once we ask something and once we hear something, we can't unknow it. We want to look for questions that are going to help provide meaning making, provide understanding of where our partner was at, where our relationship was at. What I encourage betrayed partners to do is write down all of their questions. Keep a running list and write them down without judgment. Then I usually work with people to go through these questions to understand, how is this question helpful? How would it help you make meaning or understanding from what happened? And if there's something that helps with understanding and meaning making, then it's a question you probably want to ask. If it's just something about the details, the nitty gritty, and there's not a lot of meaning behind it, that's a question we probably want to put to the side, because knowing that information is not going to be very helpful to your healing. Now, if you're doing this on your own, I would encourage you to look at each question and ask yourself, why do I want to know? What would having this information do for me? And ask yourself this several times, even on one question. Well, why would that matter to me? What would that information do to me? Okay. And why would that matter if I knew that? And ask it at least 5 times. And that will help you understand and determine whether this is a question that's meaning making and it's helpful to ask and answer, or if it's more in the details that aren't going to be actually very helpful. It can actually stagnate your progress. That's a lot of information already. I want you to know that healing from infidelity is possible. But just because it's possible doesn't mean it's going to be true for you. Look at these steps, integrate them, and I encourage you, if at all possible, get yourselves into therapy. If possible, going into individual therapy for both partners and couples therapy, that would be ideal, but I know it's not possible for everyone. I do run infidelity support groups for betrayed partners that are choosing to stay in the relationship, as well as having infidelity retreats. I'll link the information below. If you have any questions or want me to go more in depth about anything that I talked about in this video or about infidelity at all, leave a comment below. And be sure to follow along. If you want more videos like this on infidelity, relationships, and sex, be sure to subscribe to my channel.